Our first guest tonight is an Academy Award-winning actress, you know, from films such as A Beautiful Mind, Requiem for a Dream, and Top Gun Maverick. She stars in Dark Matter, which is streaming now on Apple TV+. Let's take a look.
What was the name of that hotel that we stayed in?
Which?
You remember last Thanksgiving, we stayed in that hotel. You were obsessed with it. What was it called?
Mahakal.
Mahakal. That's it, Mahakal. It was beautiful. We loved it.
Please welcome back to the show, Jennifer Connelly, everybody. Welcome back.
Hi, thank you. So nice to see
That was a
you.
really good, creepy clip.
Yeah, something's brewing.
Yeah,
Something's
it's
brewing.
tricky because this is a book I read, a science fiction book I read that I loved.
Yes, of the same
And
title.
I'm very happy that it was adapted into a book, but it's tricky to find a clip because there's so much to the story. And I feel like that was a really good one because you're like, what's going on with these two?
Yeah, because the basic premise is there's a guy and he's abducted into an alternate version of his life. Meanwhile, someone else is living his life. So
I like that that's the excuse I'm going to give my wife when I can't remember a hotel we stayed at.
yeah,
I'm going to be like, here, the long story short, I have been abducted.
yes.
We had your co-star Joel Edgerton here yesterday, and he said one of the nice things about this adaptation is that Blake Crouch, who wrote the book, is also the showrunner and wrote the scripts for the show. That must be a nice thing to have somebody who originally came up with this, very unique idea also on set.
It was amazing. You know, it's different. You know, shooting a film, the director is really the person, your go-to person on set. And in the show, we have different directors. We had, one director who did the first 3 episodes, and then you have a different director for the next 2, and in different blocks. But Blake, who is our showrunner and who wrote the novel and wrote many of our scripts, was there. He was the person. He was the sort of the through line. So it was wonderful. It was wonderful having him there, and I think for fans of the book, they know that it's really his vision. He was
I think
part
that's
of every
especially
decision.
weird. I don't want to be hard on them as a fan base, but I do think science fiction fans also sometimes, in particular, like to know that it is in the safe pair of hands of the people who came up with the idea. In the first place.
Yeah, of course. If you love a book, you want to
100%.
feel that it's adapted in a way that's faithful.
And
to
I
the
did
book.
love the book, and I do think it's a wonderful adaptation. Did you know of the book? Like, when it first came to you, how much did you know?
No, I didn't know. I hadn't read the book, and I obviously subsequently did, and really enjoyed it, and referred back to it many times. Because it was like a journal from my character to have.
It's also, and I think this is true of all the best sci-fi, that it's there's a lot of big ideas, but it's also about really human stuff. It's about like family and marriage and grief.
Yeah.
Did you feel like the groundedness of it is also what makes it so much?
That's a part of what I loved about it. I mean, yeah, he's traversing these incredible worlds, but he's doing that. He's also navigating the landscape of his marriage, and sort of the choices that he's made in his life, as he's wondering, like, should I have done this? Should I have made this choice? Should I have had a family? What if I had pursued my career? And that's kind of playing out, those sort of domestic questions are playing out in this really spectacular way.
I would imagine, even if you don't like watching yourself on camera, you must be fascinated to see how something in a sci-fi world looks when you watch it again.
Yeah,
Because when you're
also,
making it...
there's, like in this, there's so much that I wasn't a part of and I didn't see,
Right.
like all of that other world that he's in as he's, in... Also interesting is it was like, it's different realities, but they're different versions of his own city that he keeps going back to, which was I thought was pretty cool. And I wasn't part of that stuff in the show. So it was really fun for me to see.
That's great.
All of that, yeah.
Now, we talked to Joel yesterday about what other path, if he hadn't, because again, this is about the choices you make and where you end up. If he hadn't been an actor, what would he have done? And he pretty much admitted I think he has no other skills. I mean, that's, I'm paraphrasing.
Well, he's really talented
He's
as an actor.
really good at acting.
So that works out
Yes,
really
I
well
wanna
for
stress.
him. He's really, really good
Yeah,
at
but
it.
it does seem
and
like
I'm sure
a
that's not
giant
true.
step down to career 2 for Joel.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about you? Do you ever think about like what else you could have done?
You know, I actually thought about it in this version of my life because I started working when I was so young. I started working when I was 10 years old.
That's crazy.
And it wasn't something that I had pursued. Like I never even did a school play. Like I didn't even watch movies. Like I was like, it was my mom's idea, and I started working. And then at a certain point, when I got a little bit older, I was like, do I really want to do this? Like this isn't what I chose for my life. But well, here I am. So obviously
Yeah.
I re-chose it. But after investigation and really thinking about
That's
it.
good. Your children actually have a take on what would be a good second career for you.
Oh, yeah. My son, Stellan, he thinks that I would have been a pretty good detective.
I think that tells us a lot about what kind of mom you were.
Exactly. I'm not sure that's a compliment. And my really hyper vigilant mom who sees everything.
Do your kids give a lot of feedback on your work? Are they honest?
Well, they haven't gotten to see a lot of it. To
I
be
guess
honest,
that's
this is
true.
probably for the best.
You haven't done a lot of, yeah.
They watched this show actually, and they really enjoyed it, and they said very nice things about it.
Great.
Agnes, they all have grown up coming to work with us. Agnes is the most vocal and cutthroat. Yeah, because they'll come and they'll sit at the monitor and put headphones on and listen and watch a
that's
take.
good.
She'll sit there and watch. And she does not mince words. So she'll be like, yeah, Mom, I'll come up after. She'll be like, yeah, Mom. So in that take, you put your hand on his shoulder. Not working. Try not. Next take, try not doing that. I'll be like, okay. Sure, thanks. And she's right. She's usually right.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the
she's right.
heartbreaking thing.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
My wife has advice all the time, and the most heartbreaking thing is how right she is.
Is she?
Yeah. You know, though, you're being hard on your work. My kids are 8, 6, and 2. You know what their favorite movie is?
What?
House of Sand and Fog. It maybe seems like you've gotten it a little bit better than your husband. When Paul was here, he said that he went on, maybe it was the Netflix account or some account where they changed the icon, his icon, this Paul Bettany, wonderful actor, to his face. And they changed the name to Worst Avenger.
Yeah, it's true. There's his avatar, there's a picture of him as Vision. He plays Vision in, and there's a picture of him and it says Worst Avenger.
I will say,
it's true. It was very funny.
it's very funny to burn your dad in a way that you're not there when he finds out.
Yeah.
Like you gotta have a lot of confidence
Totally.
as a kid, be like, he'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
This will
I love
age
it.
fine.
Yeah, they're good at that. They're good at those kinds of pranks. I have one. We have this. Well, this is a long story. Maybe I shouldn't go to it. But we have this painting that I loathe that someone gave us. That's an oil painting of my husband. That's they took. Was it like a Playgirl thing? Was it Burt Reynolds? Like a famous
I remember,
picture.
yes.
The cover.
Where he's leaned out.
Yeah. So they did had a commission an oil painting of that with my husband's face on it.
Yeah,
and
that's no
it's
good.
so disturbing to me. And Paul tried to put it over our mantle, and I took it down and I hid it. And then it became this game where then he'd find it and he'd put it someplace else. And then now it's become a game with the kids, and they torture me with it. So last time I had hidden it, I thought someplace really good, but they never find it. And I went to go to sleep at night, and while I was out, they had rigged it with fishing wire. It was hanging from the ceiling. I'm looking up, and it was.
That's really good. That
They're
must be a
sneaky.
moment where you're both mad and also
And
but
proud.
you know what? I'm really
a
proud.
little proud,
Yeah.
because that's a good joke.
I would love anybody
Yeah.
who puts the time in. You're like, you do love me.
I know.
Thanks for being here. Congrats
Thanks
on the
for
show.
having
Such a
me.
delight.
Thank